Dirty dealings, corporate battles, consumer woes. This is Evening 5. Both the Employees Provident Fund and Lembaga Tabung Haji are no longer substantial shareholders of Globetronics Technology, following the recent announcement that its external auditor KPMG has voluntarily resigned. Based on boss filings, EPF sold 9.48 million Globetronics shares on Tuesday, while LTH disposed of 4.02 million shares the same day that Globetronics announced KPMG's departure, and its shares dived over 30%. While it was LTH's first time selling Globetronics shares since 2021, EPF has been trimming its stake throughout the year, with selling intensifying from August when it offloaded 4.6%. In total, the EPF has sold 70.65 million Globetronics shares so far this year, representing a 10.46% stake, leaving it with about 26.21 million or a 3.88% stake. It used to own as much as 128.17 million shares or 19.15% in Globetronics back in April 2022. As for LTH, it is left with about a 4.8% stake. While Globetronics shares settled unchanged at 55 cents on Friday, the shares of its largest shareholder, APB Resources, which owns a 10.37% stake, continued to fall. A drop of more than 15% during the day led to the suspension of short selling of APB shares earlier on Friday, before the stock pared some losses to settle at RM1.01, down 12 cents from the previous day. Year to date, it is down 60.1%. West Horizon Plantation and its officers Dr. Jesse Tang and Terence Mark were charged in Sessions Court on Friday for alleged trust deed violation. They pleaded not guilty to the three charges under Section 45(1)(f) of the Interest Schemes Act 2016 and claimed trial after the charges were read, according to a statement by Companies Commission Malaysia, which enforces the Act. EWH, which operates an oil palm plantation in Sabah known as the West Horizon Planters Scheme, and its officers allegedly breached the clause in the trust deed dated December 24, 2012, read together with a second supplemental trust deed dated January 23, 2015. The company was accused by SSM of not depositing 9.65 million into a designated reserve fund trust account held by Pacific Trustee by January 1, 2023, intended as the monthly net return payment for the first quarter of 2023 to its investors. If convicted, they face imprisonment of up to 3 years or a maximum fine of 500,000 or both. EWH acknowledged the case brought against the company and its officers and said that the company is prepared to defend against the charges in court. At a planters meeting held on August 12, 2024, a majority of planters approved a rehabilitation and restructuring exercise. Meanwhile, West Horizon Planters Scheme is the second planter scheme launched by East West One Group. SSM also reminded the public to exercise caution and verify the legitimacy of any investment schemes offered by any companies or businesses with the relevant authorities. MMAG Holdings is going to take over Velocity Capital Partners' stake in its 86.09% owned loss-making subsidiary Line Clear Express. According to MMAG's filing, it is planning to acquire VCP's 8.91% stake in LCE for 13.75 million ringgit cash, which will raise its stake to 95%. The remaining 5% in LCE is held by HKL Dynamics, an 85% owned subsidiary of Hong Seng Consolidated. MMAG was previously a major shareholder, holding 16.61% of its shares. It sold the stake together with the warrants for 37.36 million cash in September last year. LCE is engaged in the courier and logistic businesses, providing services such as warehousing, last-mile delivery, e-commerce customized services, and special/security handling delivery via air, sea, and land freight. Loss-making over the last 4 years, LCE incurred a loss after tax of 49.71 million on a revenue of 121.63 million for its 15-month period ended June 30th, 2024. MMAG said LCE has been focusing on enhancing its operational capabilities through strategic investments in automation and the adoption of advanced IT systems. MMAG said that this increase in stake in LCE allows it to gain additional control and to reap the additional benefits upon LCE's turnaround of its business profitability in the future. The proposed acquisition is expected to be completed in the fourth quarter of 2024. PGF Capital, which mainly manufactures insulation products, said on Friday that it is buying a piece of land in Kedah for 40 million to be developed into a factory. The 96,720 square meter land in Kulim is expected to be developed in phases into a manufacturing facility that would more than triple its annual production capacity once fully completed in June 2028. CEO Fong Wen Sheng said that the land will be sufficient to cater to the group's expansion needs for the next 5 years, while the close proximity to PGF's existing plant and the Penang port further boosts the land's value. Fong explains that the expansion is currently backed by a surge in demand for insulation products, particularly in the Oceania market, where Australia's stringent new energy efficiency building codes have significantly lifted demand. Fong had earlier told The Edge that the company has allocated capital expenditure of 200 million ringgit for the expansion project in Kulim. PGF has signed a 5-year agreement with advanced building materials company Centria Building Material Manufacturing Shanghai for distribution of its mineral wool sandwich panels in Malaysia, targeting industrial and commercial buildings, including data centers. Fung now said PGF is exploring the possibility of jointly establishing a local manufacturing facility with Centria to produce insulated panels with both glass wool and stone wool cores. Former Malaysian Merchant Marine Executive Deputy Chairman Datuk Ramesh Rajaratnam has filed a lawsuit seeking a declaration from the courts that the Capital Markets and Services Act 2007 is unconstitutional. Ramesh, who is an accountant by trade, filed a suit earlier this week, citing that Section 1882A of the Act, which deals with insider trading, contravenes Articles 5.1, 8.12, 10.1a and 13 of the Federal Constitution. Article 5.1 deals with the liberty of a person, while Article 8.12 provides that everyone is equal before the law and entitled to equal protection. Article 10.12 provides that a citizen has the right to freedom of speech and expression, while Article 13 states that no person shall be deprived of property save in accordance with the law. In the originating summons filed at the High Court, Ramesh named the Securities Commission and the government as defendants. He wants the courts to determine if the CMSA restricts the rights of an individual who was appointed as a director of a company to buy and trade in the stocks of the said company. Ramesh wants the court to decide whether CMSA is constitutional or not because it fails to differentiate between a company director who has intention to seek opportunity from the company and a director who just wants to sell their stocks. He also said that CMSA violates his right to freedom of association and to property. In his suit, Ramesh is seeking relief deemed fit by the court and other costs. Ramesh has been convicted of 3 insider trading charges brought against him by the SC. He was originally charged with the offences at the Sessions Court here in April 2015 and subsequently sentenced to 5 years jail and fined 3 million ringgit for each charge.